So I want to spend a couple of minutes talking about our neighbors and property values as it relates to our house. Give you a little education about Gaviotis. This fountain here, which by the way my wife and I put in, we also got that from Tecate, Cantera. Very nice to look at in addition to the wonderful ocean view. But beginning with the house across the street from that fountain and going up the hill, 10 houses, all of the houses are valued at $1.5 million and up. In fact, the house next to the last one at the end is currently on the market for $2.59 million. So, needless to say, this is a very upper end section of the complex. There are other very upper end homes sprinkled throughout the community, but this is the highest concentration. So $1.5 million on up, $695. We think this is a good deal here. The neighbors next door, that house is owned by 3 couples. They've had it for about 25 years. One gentleman is an attorney. The other one owns a auto wheel and truck business. And the other one is the retired superintendent of the LA County Jail. Very nice, very interesting people in their 60s. They come down, one of the couples about every 6 weeks or so. So it's almost like there's hardly anybody there. And the same with this house, which was purchased not too long ago by some relatively young guys, 2 couples, and they just come down to surf. And if I didn't mention it, this is one of the best surfing spots in Baja. We're going into high tide right now, so you can't see the surfers, but it's not unusual to have 24 surfers out there. Talking a little more about the community, I just can't overemphasize how important it is that this community was developed by a California developer in the early 70s. He was from the Bay Area, and he thought that that was the time that things could become of interest to Californians down here. So he started this project. But in order for him to market this project, Las Gaviotas, up in California, he had to build it according to California specifications. So that is very important because the California building codes are much more stringent than the Mexican building codes. So for example, this community has its own water and sewage filtration plants. It has all the utilities are underground. It has its own cable TV system, although we get direct TV down here. But if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to pay for that, you get the Gaviotis cable system. So the zoning is very important because while there are many nice houses and condos for sale in this area outside of Gaviotis, you never know what could go up next to you because of the lack of strict zoning. So you'd hate to invest in a nice house and then have something junky or a double wide move in next door to you. Also, you'd hate to buy something outside of this community, which is totally done, and that's very important, and buy into a community that halfway through they stop construction, and that happens all the time. For some reason, Mexico does not have any completion laws or bond requirements. In fact, quite to the contrary, as long as you're in construction down here, you don't have to pay property taxes. Why they do it that way, I don't know, but consequently, you have a lot of projects that start, look great, halfway through the process, if sales drop off, they stop building, and there it sits. And some of these projects we've seen down here sit for as long as 10 years. So you don't want to get caught up in that. Once again, Gaviotis is done. It was done just the same it was built in the U.S. And so you feel safe and secure to know that you don't have to worry about something junky being built here.